this example number 5, read it. Let x and y equal your unknown. So what are they? And then we'll try and write down 2 equations involving them if you can. So I'll just pause this while you do that. So shall we let x be the value of the contract? If you've used it the other way around or thought of another letter, that's fine. And y be the forfeit. You could use C for contract and F for forfeit, that's fine. But remember, C doesn't mean contract and F doesn't mean forfeit. They're numbers, the value of the contract, the value of the forfeit. So if we look at this is the key bit. And this, there are your 2 situations. If they're 6 days late, they receive 5,000. If they're 14 days late, they receive 3,000. Receive 3,000 and 5,000. So how can I make an equation out of this first one? Sorry, go on. X, which is the value of the contract, minus 6 lots of the forfeit equals 5,000. Yes. You see it. So now we can write down the second one. X minus 14y equals 3,000. So I've got my 2 equations, 2 unknowns, so I can now plot them if I wanted to and see where the lines cross. Or I can use the substitution method or the elimination method. This way actually lends itself quite nicely to the elimination method, so I will have a look at that for this one. But let's look at the substitution method first. So take number 1 and rearrange that. Probably the easiest thing to do is rearrange it for x. So I'll just pause that while you do that. And then substituting that value into 2, so you end up with a third equation which only involves y. So have a go. So hopefully from 1 you've got x equals that. Add 6y to both sides to get x equals 5,000 plus 6y. Substitute into equation 2, so I'll put this in instead of x. This bracket is unnecessary actually. I just put that there really to show that that's what x was. It's that times 1, that's what's outside the bracket, so effectively it's just that. So now I can collect together like terms. 5,000 minus 8y equals that. I don't like the fact that this 8y is negative, so add it to both sides. Shift it over there in other words. Subtract 3,000 from both sides to get this. Divide by 8. Y equals 250, so £250. Hopefully that's what you got. So now what do? I know what y is, so I can go back to my original equations. Probably choose one, it doesn't actually matter which one I choose here. Choose one of them, substitute in my value for y that I now know to get x. Once I've got x, use the one I didn't use before, i.e. 2 if you used 1, to check. So just finish that off now, find the value of x, and then substitute in the other equation to check you're right. Again, I'll just pause while you do that. So I substitute my value for y back in 1 to get x equals 6,500 and check in number 2, which seems to work, so I'm fairly confident I'm right. So the value of the contract was £6,500 and the forfeit was £250 a day. You could do similar things with all those other questions, and if you want you can have a go at some of them, and if you get stuck on them let me know and I'll prod you along the way to get you going. Okay? The difficult thing is getting going in the first place, writing down the original equations, and after that really it's just grinding through the method, the algebra. So it's good practice for that. I did say I'd go through the elimination method here, just and quickly I'll do that now. If we look back at equations 1 and 2 here, let's just copy them down. At the bottom here. Whoops. Ugh. What the hell have I done there? Okay. It obviously wants me to put it there. If we look at equations 1 and 2, x is the same in both. So, if I was to subtract equation 1 from equation 2, say, I'd have x minus x is nothing and x is gone. This is the elimination method. If I subtract minus 6y from minus 14y, and this is the tricky bit in the elimination, it's the negatives that are always the problem. If I do minus 14y minus 6y, I'm adding 6y. Minus 14y plus 6y is still negative. So it's probably best to take equation 2 away from equation 1. So 1 minus 2, equation 1, take away equation 2. And I'd have minus 6 for the y's, minus 6 minus 14 is plus 14. 14 take away 6 is 8. X's have gone. I'd have 8y equals 5,000 take away 3,000 is 2,000. I'm straight away got y. I divide both sides by 8 and I've got y equals 2,000 over 8, which is much quicker. So sometimes the elimination method is the one to choose, and if you can see a quick way to use it, that's the way to go. But if it's not obvious, go for the substitution method, because that always works. Once you've got y, then it's in the same as we were before. You substitute back in to get x and check. So sometimes the elimination method is a nice way to go. So do have a look at that way and see how it works. Okay, so I'll stop that there.